So it's 10 o'clock. Should I,
Neil, if you could just give me 1 second, I'm just starting the live stream, sorry.
no worries, no worries.
Okay, Neil, you're good to go. You have quorum and you're now live streaming.
Okay, super. So I'll call this meeting to order at 10:01. We begin this gathering by acknowledging and celebrating these traditional lands as a gathering place of the First Peoples and their ancestors who are entrusted to care for Mother Earth since time immemorial. We do so respecting both the land and the Indigenous people who continue to walk with us through this world. Today, the county is committed to working with Indigenous peoples and all residents to pursue a united path of reconciliation. Point two, adoption of the agenda for today's meeting, July 14th. Can I get a motion for that? All right. Nikki, and is there a second?
Janet.
Janet, all right. Hi, Janet. Okay, and then all in favor? Three, disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. I don't think we have anything under that. Right. Adoption of minutes. Can I get a motion for the adoption of the minutes from the November 4th meeting? Okay, Nikki and David. Okay. Five, I don't believe there's any deputations or presentations. Six, reports to the Frontenac Accessibility Advisory Committee. So is there one or two reports under this then? Is Richard going to speak to this, I guess?
Thanks, Mr. Allen. So through you, there is a slight amendment to the report, and I'm just going to maybe turn this over to Richard to speak to. The intent of the report was to move the Access Awards to the Business Awards program, but there's two pieces to that. There's the actual Business Award, and then the awards which are presented at the Business Retreat. Is that correct, Richard? No? So I'm going to let Richard speak to just the business awards and the retreat, just so that you get a glimpse of understanding of what that is, and then we can make the decision on moving the Access Award there.
Thank you, Clerk Amini, and through the chair, just for the committee's information, in 2021, we started to understand that our business community was feeling like kind of beat down through inflation and COVID, and having a very difficult time having a positive outlook on things. And so we enacted two items: a retreat, which was a sort of a one-day networking event and learning event where we brought our businesses together, and we do that annually. And the Business Awards program. And in the first 2 years, we did those events at the same time. So the awards were the end of the retreat event. But starting last year in 2025, we started to separate the two. And so there's a separate event for the Business Awards that takes place in November, while the Business Retreat takes place in October. So it's its own event. So in the recommendation, it says the Retreat and Awards Program. It's really simply the Business Awards Program. The way that we give out the Business Awards is there's a nomination period where we are looking for nominations for the various categories of business awards, and those are taken in over the course of about 6 to 8 weeks. Usually we open the nomination period in the middle of August, and we close it sometime near the end of October so that we can get nominations in as part of the retreat messaging. And then they are evaluated. So the nominations are given in by the public, and they're nominated by they're nominated, they're evaluated by a third-party panel. So staff don't do the evaluation or scoring. It's done by a volunteer panel to ensure that there's no bias in terms of it. So the third-party panel does their scoring independently of each other, and then we collect the scores and determine who the winner is based on how that scoring process works. And so we thought that since we're always advertising our business awards at the same time as the accessibility awards, and the accessibility awards often include businesses as the recipients, that perhaps we could align our interests and award the access award as part of the business awards process.
So two pieces to that we're looking for support from for the committee is, number one, to actually move our Access Award into the Frontenac County Business Awards program. That would be the first piece. And then there's also a second piece that we need permission from the committee or guidance from the committee on whether the committee wants to continue evaluating the awards, or do we want this third-party unbiased volunteer panel to review the nominations and provide a recommendation similar to all of the other business awards. So that's the two pieces that we're looking for guidance from the committee on.
Well, it seems like a good fit for the award to be part of that, being that it is about oftentimes businesses in the county. So I would support it moving to that.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I may have missed this in my reading, but I think there's 5 existing categories of business awards. Is the intent to move accessibility into the business awards and add accessibility as a new category, or will there no longer be a category specific to accessibility?
So the first one, so there will be then 6 types of awards that are being looked at as opposed to the 5.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense, you know, added as a 6th category to the existing awards that happen with the businesses. In regards to review of the awards, I just guess a little more information about the nonpartisan volunteer body that would be determining the awards. Like, do they have a lot of experience when it comes to accessibility issues and what people are being awarded for? Because if there isn't, then I think it would still be wonderful to include the accessibility committee when it comes to that new 6th category.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Pat as well on that. I think it would be interesting to know if the committee, what kind of experience they would be bringing to the table. Otherwise, it might still be good to have the advisory committee sort of involved in that part still, at least.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the committees, the volunteers who do the scoring typically are members of either the business support community, so they either ministry staff or they work in economic development in other areas. But they are not typically accessibility champions or trained in accessibility as part of it. And so there are a few places they could go. I suppose we could continue with the process as is and sort of align this committee's meeting to be in that first week of November when we're reviewing the other award applications. We could involve a member of this committee in the panel itself, or we could train the volunteers in evaluating accessibility in some way, shape, or form. I'm open to any of those. None of those are a challenge for us to coordinate.
I think just given like just the experience in a lot of situations, just the life experience, it might be, I think it might be good to still have the committee involved in that process. That's just, that would be my opinion.
I would agree with Deal on that. I think it would align with a November meeting, at which point the committee could see the nominations and give our input. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
The only other thing is with the accessibility awards being their own thing was, very much celebrating and highlighting things that businesses are doing. So I just want to make sure that if it just becomes the sixth category of all these others, that celebration isn't lost when it comes to the strives towards accessibility.
So if I could just very quickly speak to that last point, the reason we sort of, or staff are looking at this direction is to give the award more prominence. Even though we do have the Access Award now, it's typically presented, the nominations go out. We have a difficult time getting the word out there. The award is presented at the warden's reception, and it's not necessarily the business community that's at that reception. So moving it more into the business community, in our eyes as staff, we thought that this would bring more prominence of accessibility into the business community, where I think we need to see the most change in order of removing barriers.
Yeah, that sounds like a win to me, right? So then that even more supports my vote for adding this to that business awards.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that it is the businesses that you want to be sort of part of. So it makes sense to me as well to have it moved to that event. Where are the these awards presented? Like what like is it at one of the meetings or?
Thank you for your question, Chair Allen. I just realized that it doesn't appear to be in the report, and that's mostly because we were finalizing the timing and location of the event. It is scheduled for November 10th, and it is at Piccadilly Hall in Piccadilly. It's a small but mighty little hall. We have checked it out to make sure that it's accessible, that you're able to enter the hall in an accessible manner. There is a little bit of a hill up to it, but if people who are using mobility assistance are parking in the parking lot, they're able to access the hall directly and as part of that. So we did check that out as part of the potential of this event. The timing is, I have to double check here, but generally we do it around 5 to 7. And there's a bit of networking and a bit of food and drink, and then we present the awards to the celebrated nominees. We invite all of the nominees to the event, and so everyone who's nominated gets an invitation. We let them know that they were nominated, and we had last year approximately 45 people out to the event, and it was an excellent attendance from the business community. We'll make sure we confirm and follow up what the timing of the event is to make sure the committee can attend and that a member of the committee can present the award and maybe speak to its importance as part of the whole process.
Yeah, excellent. So I guess
Excuse
we're gonna
me.
look at, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'd just like to revisit the idea of the judging. I think it's quite right that right now this committee holds the expertise, but would it be possible perhaps to integrate a couple of members from the other committee to join us when we're evaluating the accessibility awards so that we can pass on some of the concerns we have, and maybe over time that committee would be able to evaluate everything?
That would be difficult. One, because the evaluation committee tends to change year to year, and two, we tend to keep the identities anonymous, just in terms of protecting them, keeping the process out of bias, so that folks don't know. We're trying to make sure that we're following a rigorous process that we can follow up, and if we need to share the judges' names, but the idea is that they're an independent third party that isn't identifiable, so that they're providing clear paperwork to us about their judgment in case there's a dispute about a nomination or selection. And so if we were to bring them into the committee, we would be revealing their identity as part of this process here.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Neil, Nikki has her hand raised.
Okay, oh, sorry, go ahead. I have to apologize. The top part of my bar cuts half of everybody's head off, so sometimes I miss somebody when they've got their hand up. I apologize for that. Go ahead, Nikki.
No problem. I just wanted to clarify. So Richard, you said the date of the event is November the 10th. So when would you need to have the decision made by our committee for that award?
Typically, we have the awards ready to go. So usually the week or 2 weeks before the event is enough for us.
So if we made a decision towards the end of October, that would be better for you.
That's correct. Yeah, but we haven't defined the nomination period yet. So I just need to go back and understand when that's closed. That's the key period is. But we can close the nomination period in a way that will work for this committee as well.
Sorry, if I could just make one other point as well, and it's certainly not to deter from the committee choosing the Access Award, but our meetings are a committee of councils. So even though sometimes people don't come to our meetings, we would be making public ahead of the nomination of the awards who is actually getting it. Whereas with the Business Retreat Awards, it's a surprise at that evening because they don't know who has won. So just to keep that in mind as well, when you're determining how you would like to see the selection process roll out, that it would not be a surprise if the committee is doing the review of the awards, where it would be a surprise if it goes to this volunteer nominations committee.
So in this situation, I know like typically everything should be public, and why these meetings are recorded and made live streamed. Is this something that could be handled as an email between the county and the accessibility committee?
No, so we are required to follow the municipal act, and there would be no reason that would allow us to go into closed session. We cannot conduct business via email, as that would be considered an illegal closed meeting. So there's no avenue for this committee to meet privately.
So then what are options for us to be able to be a part of this without it ruining the surprise of the evening?
I think the only option would be that we request that on this volunteer committee, number one, I'm sorry, I should rephrase. It doesn't ruin the evening.
Alright.
It would not ruin the evening at all. And odds are it may very well be a surprise. I don't know, but please don't think that it would ruin the evening. It just wouldn't be a surprise like the other awards, like they would know ahead of time that they're perhaps receiving this, but do not think it's going to ruin the evening.
And through the chair, if I may add to what the clerk's saying, I think we don't want to make too many changes too fast. Like I support the committee making the decision in the way that it's made the decision going forward, and then we can review how that went and determine in future years if that went well or if we'd like it to be part of the surprise going ahead. But like, if we make too many changes to the process, we might feel left out or out of control when we've been doing the award in so many ways. So my recommendation to the committee is to go through your regular selection process that as you have, but do the presentation as part of the regular business awards.
Thanks for your recommendation. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I like that too. So are we gonna do a motion for each of those then, Jeanette?
Correct. So the motion would be it resolved that the Frontenac Accessibility Advisory Committee supports the Frontenac Access Award becoming part of the Frontenac County Business Awards program, and further that the review of the nominations stay with the Frontenac Accessibility Advisory Committee for this year to be revisited in future years.
Okay, so can I get a motion then for the first one that would be to move the award? I can first.
I can second Neil's motion.
Okay, so Neil, and then can I get a motion?
Sorry, it's just all one motion, Neil.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just all
Right.
one motion.
Oh, okay, all right, perfect. That makes it easier then. Okay, excellent. And then all in favor. Okay, we'll move on to township updates then. There are no updates, I don't think, for North Frontenac or Central Frontenac. South Frontenac, I guess we've got some updates. Tim and David, were you going to speak to those?
Sure. Through the chair, thank you for having us at this meeting to present some updates about what we're doing in South Frontenac from the accessibility perspective. I'm Tim, I'm the manager at Recreation and Facilities, and with me on the call is David, who's been helping with a lot of these projects. So a couple of things that we have going on. First of all, a few things that we've recently completed. So the end of May 2025, we completed the renovations of the Centennial Park washroom. So we now have a fully accessible universal washroom at that site. So entirely barrier-free entrance, power door operated, and also has an adult change table inside it as well, which is the first park in South Frontenac that does have an adult change table. So we're happy that that project is complete. Any questions on that one at all before I move on?
Just a quick question, Tim. What are like the hours that it's open? I know like we go down there and we found that the door is like locked and we're not able to access the wash.
Okay, good question. So typically with that one, it's really when we have such staff in the summertime that are available to open that facility. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure the exact hours offhand, but I believe it was to 8 p.m. evenings and weekends. But I can confirm that. But unfortunately, a lot of our sites are really kind of accessed by the groups only. So they have the keys to open up facilities and stuff like that for the groups that are using it, and not necessarily always open for the public, just because we just don't have the staff resources to open and close those facilities. But we do try to maintain some of our key parks opening hours in the summertime.
Okay.
It's definitely a challenge from a resource perspective.
Like for on Fridays, for example, when they do the farmers market, like would it be open at that time?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, okay.
So, so moving into the next project that we're excited about, as you may have heard, we're undertaking a bunch of expansion renovations to the Centennial Park. It's probably our highest use park in the township right now, from not only residents and user groups, but also visitors as well. And we did receive a grant from the Ministry of Sport, Community and Infrastructure in the amount of $665,000, which is a matching grant. So the township is funding the other portion of that. And with that, what we're looking at doing is separate from the accessibility piece, we're taking the big baseball diamond and completely redoing the baseball diamond. And then on the accessibility perspective, we're going to increase connectivity via paved pathways that meet the accessibility requirements to basically every amenity in the park. Right now, as many of you might know, it's crushed stone. Some of the transitions aren't accessible. Some of the connections to playgrounds aren't accessible, or even benches. For a lot of the different areas, they're just not accessible. So we're going to have pathways throughout the entire park with transitions to all these different amenities to make sure it's accessible. We'll have pads next to spectator bleachers for like the baseball diamond, as well as a soccer, as well as part of that project, which I think is going to be greatly increase accessibility for all. We're also going to be having some dedicated accessible parking spaces at a couple of different areas through the park. One closer to where the Grand Pavilion is, and then also near the soccer field as well. We'll have some accessible parking dedicated as part of this project. Another thing that we're excited about is the additional buildings. We'll have a brand new building on the site closer to that Grand Pavilion piece, because that's where a lot of the activity is happening. When the original washroom was built, it was because ball was the biggest thing that was going on in the park. So that's why the washroom was kind of way out in one area. So we recognize the need for additional washroom space that's closer to some of the other amenities. So that building as well will be fully accessible, and we're quite excited about that piece. The other portion that we're excited about is having an accessible, inclusive playground. So we're going to be adding a play structure, and I think the one we've specified is the WeGo swing. So a few of you might be familiar with that one. So as well as we're looking at adding some other play amenities, so like some different drums and different things as well along the walkway as well. We hope to spec that too as part of the project, so that it'll be our first park that I would say in South Frontenac that's fully accessible and inclusive, which we're excited about. So we keep doing these as we can move things forward. So I think that's pretty much all. Well, one thing with the playground, of course, is going to be the rubberized surface. So it's not going to be sand. It's not going to be wood chips or anything else. It'll be the rubberized surface. And what we're going to really make sure is there's transitions from walkways to the playground structure and off the playground structure as well. So a couple different access points as opposed to just one access point. So any questions on that one before I move on?
No, it sounds like there's lots going on.
Yeah, we're definitely excited about the project. So we're just reviewing the draft technical drawings at the moment, and we're hoping to go out for tender in the next couple of weeks here. And then it's going to be kind of a phased-in project because we're looking at doing a lot of work throughout the park. So we don't want to necessarily disrupt some of the other activities that are going on. So we're going to kind of phase the project. So we're just waiting on our schedule and our tender package on that. I should be able to provide more information on exact timing, but realistically, it's probably going to start late summer, early fall, and final completion would be in 2027 on that piece. So another small project that we're working on as well is at the Sydenham Point. We have accessible washrooms. We're also looking at renovating the washrooms next to the ball diamond and making that accessible universal washrooms as well, right near the canteen building. So that's something that we're reviewing the specifications. That should be going out to market very shortly, and hopefully that'll be a late fall, winter project and completion on that one. So a lot of stuff going on, and we appreciate working with this committee. I know I've reached out to a few of you separate from this just to get some ideas, especially on playgrounds, which we always appreciate getting that support and guidance on. So any questions for me, feel free to ask.
I would just like to add congratulations to the Township of South Frontenac for all the initiatives they've taken and obviously thought put into implementing these things. It's well noticed by the community, and you know, I think it's just incredible. So yeah, amazing work, Tim.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's nice to get some positive feedback, and like I said, it's great to work with you guys too on this.
The
So thank you.
only thing I would add, and of course plans are in the works, is that
Yeah.
as you build these paths and these seatings, if there is an opportunity to add some sort of like shade or shelter, it would also be a really wonderful thing, especially you know, in the heat of the summer while you're watching the game to get out of those rays for some people is important. But honestly, that's just a little tidbit. It sounds like everything you're doing is going to really benefit the community. So thanks.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, well, thank you, Tim. That was great. That was a great update. Okay, that's excellent. I look forward to seeing those in use. So we'll move on to the Frontenac Islands. Angelique, did you want to talk to that?
Yes. Hi. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Good morning. I just wanted to give you a quick verbal update in regards to our AODA audit. At the previous meeting, I had reached out and asked you for some input regards to our playground. So I am very, very excited to announce that we did complete the desk audit, and we were notified on June the 4th that we received the letter to say that we had concluded our desk audit. So very happy about that. So that was great news to receive. Just kind of a little bit of background in the fact that we did receive notification of this audit back in April of 2025. And again, it was a random notice saying the township was selected for an AODA desk audit. And specifically, the audit was regarding outdoor play spaces, training, and accessible parking. So we, of course, had submitted our compliance plan to the ministry, and we provided them with regular updates and a lot of communication back and forth. And so, yeah, I just wanted to provide the committee an update, and we're very pleased that we did pass the audit. Again, it was a very long process, as you can tell, but it's really great news. So yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know, and if anybody has any questions, I'm pleased to answer those questions.
Awesome, that's great. Yeah, well, thanks, Angelique.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on then to communications. I don't believe that there are any communications. Other business. Does anybody have any other business that they'd like to mention? Anything happening in the township or anything that they'd like to share? I just wanted to mention under other business this weekend. I was talking to Jeanette. I bet it just a little while ago. There is an event on this weekend coming up called Fantasy in the Forest. It's over near Perth Road. It's quite an event. It takes place literally in the forest. It's a bunch of it's a gathering of artisans across Eastern Ontario that come and display their various unique pieces of art. As I said, it is in the forest, so accessibility can be challenging. Now, I've attended in the past many times over the last 10 years or so. I take my power chair just because it wouldn't be something that I'd be able to get around very easily in my manual chair, but they do put down like a sawdust sort of wood chip base on all the pathways, which makes it pretty easy to get through in a manual chair. They do have accessible parking when you're going to the event, you park about a half a kilometer away and get bussed in. But if you have mobility issues or need accessible parking, then they'll wave you through and you can park right at the event. But it is a very unique event. You can check it out on Facebook, just under Fantasy in the Forest. But I just wanted to mention it because it is sort of a unique event that they have twice a year, once in July and once in September. But they do. I've talked to the person that puts the show on occasion, and they do try to take into consideration the accessibility aspect of the event, just to provide more inclusion for everybody in the township.
Thanks, Neil. So you said you go in your power chair or your manual chair?
I take my power chair. It'd be pretty tricky for me to take my manual chair. It would be a struggle.
Well, I know we went in the past and saying there was that bus, but wasn't aware that you could park right down. So that's wonderful information to know that we can go again. So thanks.
Yeah, when you pull up to where when you get in the line of traffic and you get to the guy to the person that's directing people where to park, just let them know that you need accessible parking and they will wave you through, because the event is about a half a kilometer further, as you would have known, as you'd know if you've been there before. And there's not a lot of parking at the event. There's a small field, but it's pretty full with vendors and people. But they do have a bunch of designated parking there as well if you need accessible parking closer to the event, because the buses that they truck in and out can get pretty full. But it is a very unique event, and like I said, I've been going for the better part of 10 years now, and there's always something new there. All right. We should look at our next meeting then, I guess. Did you have a time, Jeanette, that we should? I guess we will have to get together to talk about the Access Award.
Correct. So through you, Mr. Allen, if with the committee's permission, I can work with the Economic Development Department to determine when the award nominations close and ensure that we have a committee meeting close to the end of October, or ensure our award close to the end of October once the awards close, so that the committee can review the awards and ensure that they're in place for that evening.
During the meeting, I've actually determined the nomination period because other members of my team are working on this, and I'm just representing them here. And so I found the information. So the plan is for nominations to open September 24th and close October 28th. So the first Tuesday after that would be November 3rd, which is plenty of time, a week before the event.
Does that work for everybody? November 3rd, Tuesday, November the 3rd at 10 o'clock? Perfect.
Good for me so far. All right, well, we will adjourn the meeting then. Could I get a motion to adjourn? David and Nikki, all in favor? All right, thank you very much, everybody, for coming out today and trying to stay cool.
Thanks for chairing, Neil. Yeah, same to you. I hope you're able to stay cool today.
I certainly will try. All right, well, have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, county and county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.